Joseph Gonzalez, birth 4th of December 1715 in New York, death 15th of April 1782, age 66 in Saratoga County, New York. There's a memorial sign that reads Gonzalez home here in 1782. Joseph Gonzalez and son Emmanuel were killed and scalped by the St. Regis Indians. His son John was taken captive. He married April 20th of 1755 in Rochester. Let's read a little bit of this biography here. Joseph, along with his two sons Emmanuel and John, were attacked in April of 1782. Joseph and Emmanuel were both killed and scalped by the St. Regis Indians from St. Regis. The Indians were allies with the British Army, also known as the Tories. John was taken prisoner and kept by the British until 1785. Although peace was declared about a year and a half after his capture, he was forced to remain 2 years longer in the service of those he detested, obtaining his release in the spring of 1785. Being a youth of great courage and unusual intelligence and energy of character, he became a favorite with his officers, with a view to encourage settlers and perhaps also to make a partial atonement for the suffering which he had undergone. The British authorities offered land to each soldier who chose to remain under the English rule. The land thus offered to young Gonzalez was upon the site of the present city of Kingston. But although only 18 years of age, he had seen too much of the Tories to cast in his lot with them. He accordingly rejected their offer with contempt, saying, "All I want of your land is enough to walk until I get off from it." And as good as his word, he straightforward returned, yet a mere boy, to the Mohawk Valley. The first relative he found was his sister, Mrs. de Graff, whose descendants yet reside on the same farm near Amsterdam. His name was entered on the rolls of the British Army as Gonzalez, and it has been so spelled by his descendants ever since. We're going to look at a few documents from Colonial New York and some of the Spanish families that lived there then. It's not generally known as far as I can tell, so we're exploring that. In the previous video, we looked at early colonial Massachusetts and the Spanish families there. I had the idea to research this when I saw some folks that took their DNA test under the assumption that they were simply American of Northwestern European ancestry, but their results included other origins such as Iberian that they could not account for. On the flip side of that, I'm overwhelmingly of Spanish ancestry with some British results, so this interests me as well in that way. Early Spanish ancestry is known across the south of the U.S. from Florida to California, and even in the Midwest, but not so much in the early 13 colonies. Turns out that there was a lot of population movement in more ways than we would imagine. Abram Santos, military service, 21st of October 1776, New York. Amos Lopez, military service, 28th of June 1775, New York. United States Revolutionary War rolls. Here we have Mariana Bustamante and Manuel Bustamante. Immigration 1767 to New York from Cuba. Mariana was born in 1751 in Cuba, and Manuel was born in 1729 in Cuba. This is from the Library of Congress U.S. History Primary Source Timeline. Overview. When the London Company sent out its first expedition to begin colonizing Virginia on December 20th, 1606, it was by no means the first European attempt to exploit North America. In 1564, for example, French Protestant Huguenots built a colony near what is now Jacksonville, Florida. This intrusion did not go unnoticed by the Spanish, who had previously claimed the region. The next year, the Spanish established a military post at St. Augustine. Spanish troops soon wiped out the French interlopers residing but 40 miles away. Meanwhile, Basques, English, and French fishing fleets became regular visitors to the coasts of Newfoundland to Cape Cod. Some of these fishing fleets even set up semi-permanent camps on the coasts to dry their catches and to trade with local people, exchanging furs for manufactured goods. For the next 2 decades, European presence in North America was limited to these semi-permanent incursions. Then in the 1580s, the English tried to plant a permanent colony on Roanoke Island. on the Outer Banks of the present-day North Carolina, but their effort was short-lived. I do want to mention a couple of things. As we just read from the Library of Congress about St. Augustine, well, it was founded in 1565, and it's the oldest continuously occupied settlement of European and African American origin in the United States. 42 years before the English colonized Jamestown and 55 years before the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth Rock, the Spanish established St. Augustine. But the Spanish had been in the Americas for over 100 years prior. In the Caribbean, Santo Domingo was established in 1493, but officially in 1498. Havana was founded in 1519. And down in South America, Lima, Peru was established in 1535. We could imagine that trade and all sorts of movement was going on, and not these rigid borders that we'd probably imagine more so than not. I don't think that that's very true. I don't think that the visions were so strictly adhered to as we would assume in terms of population movement and trading and whatnot. It appears to be that people pretty much moved around. United States New York Land Records 1630 through 1975. Conveyance Index Grantee 1654 to 1866. Let's take a look here. So this is the grantors of land and the grantees, the ones that are receiving the land. And then we have the dates when the instrument was created and when it was recorded and so on. We have Luis Gomez and others, the instrument date of May 14th, 1729. Rodrigo Pacheco, October 6, 1749. Isaac Mendez, Sr., 1757. Isaac Gomez, 1762. Benjamin Pereira, August 13, 1771. Here we have Isaac Gomez and his wife with instruments in 1796 and one in 1797. We have Isaac Diaz in 1703. A land conveyance to Isaac in 1703. June 9th, 1703. And it was recorded June 10th, 1703. And we have Luis Gomez as well here in 1741. Mordecai Gomez, 1741. Moses Gomez in 1769. Rebecca de Lucena in 1741. Here we have Rebecca de Torres Gomez, birth 1701, burial 1729, Manhattan, New York. Wife of Daniel Gomez, son of Louis Moses Gomez, age 28. Mother of Joseph, who survived her by 5 years. Mother of Moses, who married Esther de Leon Gomez. Granddaughter of Jacob, who died in 1696. And Rebecca, who died in 1693. Daughter of Joseph Torres, died March 16, 1724. And Samaya de Torres. Also mother of Matias Gomez, died May 5th, 1783. And there's a membership application for the Sons of the American Revolution, the applications from 1889 to 1970, for Rebecca de Torres Gomez. Here we have Susan Castillo from the census of 1850 in Illinois, and she was born in 1773 in New York. Alright, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll catch you next time.